All right, let's welcome in my guy, PJ Tucker. PJ, thank you so much for being with us. We're adhering to some, apparently some safety protocols, so we're across the room from each other. But thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man.
No doubt about it, man. My first podcast. I'm happy to be here.
And I know we talk on Instagram. I follow your page, so I know you're a red burgundy guy. So I brought you a nice bottle of red burgundy in honor of you being here. Really appreciate it. We should start with the lifestyle stuff because I think more than maybe any player we've had on the pod, you're as known as much for your swag as you are for your game. And there's a number of things: cars, fashion, shoes, of course, wine. Have you always been this way with collectibles?
Yeah, no. Because I've always, like, that was like the initial, like why? Like hooping, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like my way out, take care of my family, but I like nice stuff. I'm hooping because I like nice stuff. I'm working really hard because I want to buy everything. Yeah.
Did you have a first purchase? Like a crazy first purchase that you look back on now still?
I didn't, because of my entry into it. Like, I wasn't wasn't first round. Like, me and JJ same class, so
yeah.
I went second round. So it was like, really humble beginning. Like I had to grind through it to get it. You know what I'm saying? So that was even more so the reason. Like, it was like
once you got it,
an adult. It wasn't like a young guy get it and then just do some crazy stuff.
Tommy, I'm actually glad you asked that question. And I was hoping this would come up organically. So I'm going to bring it up. So end of our rookie year in the NBA, I'm back in North Carolina. I land at RDU. I'm in the Southwest. I think it was in the Southwest terminal.
Yep.
Baggage claim. I'm waiting on my sister to come pick me up. And PJ, who again, we're rookies, rolls up in a red Bentley with red rims. So I can say PJ has been like this from day one.
Hey Jay, I'm not gonna lie. I knew you were gonna tell the story when I got here. I'm like, he is 1,000% telling the story. His face when he see me, like he was just like, okay, it's just like okay.
It was impressive.
Right,
it was impressive.
Yep.
I was reading something earlier today. Basically, you have shoes in storage in like 7 or 8 different cities. Mm-hmm. You've moved around a little bit over the last, 10 years, let's call it, of your career. Yep. Phoenix, Houston, Milwaukee, Miami.
Toronto.
You're from Raleigh. How do you sort of logistically navigate all of your collectibles? And wine too, because we were just talking.
Yeah, no,
wine
the
storage
shoes
is a
aren't
thing.
bad. Like, the shoes are easy. It's the wine, because you get traded or something more times than not. If it's not, obviously the trade deadlines normally in the summertime when you're switched and moving wine in dead summer in Texas or North Carolina is not a good thing, especially not old wine. It's gonna burn up. It's gonna burn up.
But with all of the sneakers, that isn't a challenge at all in terms of.
It is, but it isn't, right? So I built this huge shoe kind of thing in my house in North Carolina. So that's when the first place I built my house in North Carolina. I built this out. Now, I even posted it, I think, a bunch of in the beginning, setting it up, and then moving our stuff from Phoenix into that house. A lot of my stuff went there, but all of it didn't. So I left shoes in a storage in Phoenix. So that's how it kind of started from there. And then everywhere else I went after that, went to Houston. I ended up buying a shoe house. Now I have a house that just stores all of my shoes, where I would say 70% of my shoes are in there. They're all stored in there, but I still got storage there in Phoenix, still North Carolina, where the house was. So it just gets tough trying to find certain stuff, but more times than not, my assistant, he'd go to a city, go through the stores, find it.
I have a question about the logistics of the Houston shoe house. So Like, is there someone who's operating it all the time? Like,
yeah. My assistant, he's always there.
So he's
temperature controlled like a wine
yeah,
cellar?
no, it's just on temperature control for sure.
So this
No
is just
doubt.
like a museum. I mean, like there's a lot of sneakerheads that definitely like listen to the show or watch the show or whatever. Like if they walked in there,
It's just grails. A lot of grails.
It's just shoes everywhere.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's
Do you
shoe house.
do you catalog everything?
No.
No.
I know everything
But you know every shoe you
I know
have.
every shoe. I know everything is. I have an idea where everything is for the most part, but always we getting like I do this every day, right? Like every day is something with shoes gonna happen with me. Like I'm gonna buy somebody's collection. We're gonna do something. It's like somebody emailed us, somebody did something. So every morning something with shoes every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
amazing.
crazy.
I'm glad you got to this point, and I want to go back to the end of your rookie year, the end of our rookie year, and I don't know the story actually of how you played in Toronto your rookie year and how you sort of ended up overseas. And I think I wrote it down, but I think you played in like 5 different countries.
Yes.
Yeah.
5. It was like 5 in 4 years.
Yeah.
It was so crazy, right? Because I don't think I've ever even told a story. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever told a story. But my rookie year was so tough. I had a really tough, and you know how it is, JJ. Like if you go to like I don't know, like Draymond Green went to the perfect situation, right? It was like he fit in. It's like perfect. Or you can go to situations where you just don't fit, right? Like I went to a situation where we had a bunch of wings, 4, 3s, 4s. Like we had a bunch of wings. It just was a lot of guys, and they were all vets. It was some guys trying to find their way, but everybody had played. And so me coming in that mix, it just nobody was helping me, right? It was like I was like competition. So. And I didn't play, and that was tough for me, like not getting a chance to really play because, come from college, you're all American, all these things. You go to NBA and you're thinking, all right, now I'm about to do it here, and you don't. I did not react to that well. I didn't. I was terrible. I was really bad. Like I was show right before practice. I was just doing whatever I wanted. Like I was like, I'm not playing. I don't care. Not knowing that they'll cut you, like they'll let you go, like, and it's funny now because I try to help so many young guys now that when I see them acting like me or doing stuff, I'll be like all over them, like, nah, like not letting me go down that path. So, but I got to the end of that year and I got called in for a meeting. I was in the G League. I came back. They sent me down. I came back. It was like April, right before the playoffs. Playoffs about to start. And Sam Mitchell just won Coach of the Year. We're doing pretty good. And they called me in for a meeting. And I walk up, and everybody's sitting in there. I mean, the GM, the president, they're all, Colangelo, they're all sitting in there. It's like, what's up? Like, coach in there. They got, like, the TV, right? And they, like, show before the game, during the game, and after the game, just showing me on the bench. Pre-game, they like had it. They taped it all. It was terrible. To this day, it makes me sick to my stomach thinking about it.
Because of the way you were portrayed, or because they actually did that? Because you wish you could have been better.
Oh no, nothing about them. They should have. That is the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. Wow. Because it was like I couldn't. That's why. And that was probably why I ain't told the story, because I couldn't tell my mom that I couldn't. Come on, like. I'm an adult. Nobody can judge me harder than I judge myself. And that was the first time I seen myself in that light, and I was like, okay.
Did you realize it at the time, or did it?
No, of course not.
So it was like
you weren't being intentional about it. You weren't intentionally trying to be an asshole.
I really wasn't. But it's just if nobody helps you. If I didn't have vets on the team, guys on there like grabbing me, like how we do younger guys now. If I would have had somebody, maybe I wouldn't have. But I didn't know because nobody told me. No guys, nobody, it just wasn't like that.
Did they cut you right after the season?
They cut me before the playoffs, like right going into the playoffs.
Basically,
like last week of the season.
After that meeting.
Yeah,
sometime after that meeting.
Right after that.
And so did you wait around to see if any deals would come up, or did you immediately just to say, I'm going to go overseas and play?
I immediately wanted to go overseas. Right away. Like I got some Kevin, like we started, talk, I was like, I'm out. I got an offer, I was out.
And that was because you wanted to play. You were like, I just want to hoop.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to play.
So I was gonna ask about this. you killed overseas. You won, I think, 2 league finals MVP, 2 league championships, one in Israel, one in Germany. Sort of the second time around, besides that part of it, and I was hoping you sort of touched on that, because it is a mindset shift you have to make when you don't succeed early on in your career. Do you think there was anything else with the way the league was changing that helped you have more success the second time around? Because when we were drafted, you were sort of positionless.
1,000%.
And in the last 10 years, it's like, that's a strength now.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas in 2006, that was a weakness.
I talk about that all the time. And that term, man, that tweener, like that was the term, right? Like they didn't know. When we got drafted, it was like, yeah, you can play, but we don't really know what you are. So just kind of figure it out. Like, because all 4 men were like KG, like back to the basket, face up. They could shoot, but it was like 6'11", that prototypical 4-man. Tim Duncan, it was like that. Like everybody. We had Bargnani with me in my rookie year. And all the 3 men were like, like T-Mac, like, Vince Carter. It was like those type of guys, athletic, long. Like, so when you kind of just were in the middle, you really were. Like, it was tweeners, so you just didn't fit, and nobody really understood it. And the second go at it is weird because at the time I still didn't know. I was still trying to figure it out. I came back. When I signed with the Suns, I was pissed because I just got my biggest deal, a multi-year deal in Europe. I was going to Russia. My wife and my agent talked me into staying, and I was really mad actually going into Phoenix, which was stupid. No, hindsight, obviously. But even then, coming back, I still didn't know, right? Like I didn't know. I was a much better player. I was smarter. I knew how to be a pro. I knew how to play. But I still didn't know where they were going to play me. But I was prepared to be anywhere, right? Like overseas, I played center sometimes. I played power forward. I played point guard. I played everything over there. So it was that kind of knowledge of knowing how to play and what to do that I think helped me even through the years, like especially those early years on, being able to just kind of fill spots. Somebody's down, I can play that spot. I know how to play from every position.
But so, like you said, you were pissed before you got to Phoenix. Like, was there, when you were overseas, did you have that like burning desire, like I got to get back into the league to prove myself, or was like I'm good, I'll stay here?
That was my one thing. I would have like teammates. Like when you're over there, there's like guys always, like especially Americans, they like watch their computers and watch games, watch NBA games. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch NBA games. I never watched NBA games. I couldn't do it.
So you were completely focused on where you were and what you were doing. There was no NBA was out of sight, out of mind.
I was so heartbroken that I couldn't watch NBA games. I see JJ, I see everybody, all the guys that I was in my class. Like it was like I was like I let myself down.
Yeah.
But I think that's what like pushed me over there to be so good too, and really lock in to where I was at and lock in to give those guys everything I had, because I let myself down here. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of the.
Did you have any moments over there, like Euro basketball is just different. Everything about it is different.
Yes.
Did you have any moments where you were like, all right, like this is different than the NBA, this is different than college, like I'm almost in a different world?
Yeah. Right when you get there, you know that. They're gonna call walk on you so much your first. The American, any American first gets there, they're gonna call walk on you every time if you catch the ball and like jab and try to make a move, they're gonna call walk. You gotta learn to put the ball down. Like it's a different game. It is. Right away, it's a different game, and it's so deep. Like I went places I never imagined I would be like playing basketball. It was like I had moments. Like I retired like 4 times. I was on a bus ride in Ukraine. I called my agent. This is back in the day. I turned on my roaming on my phone. You have to turn on roaming. Back then, you turn it on, got a signal, and I called my agent. I was like, I'm done. I'm not playing anymore. I'm on a bus ride right now in Western Ukraine, and it's daytime, but it's dark, and I can't see anything, and I want to come home, and I'm done.
I'm sorry for laughing. I really am.
It's crazy.
I'm not laughing because it's necessarily funny, but I'm laughing more because of where you are right now.
It's crazy.
It's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I tell these stories and people are like, man, I'm like, no, listen, bro, you have no idea. I played a game in Siberia and it was like 3 feet of ice everywhere outside, and there was a game in the middle. I have no idea where I was at in Siberia.
Wow. Speaking, going back to my original question about sort of positionless basketball and why that's been such a strength for you the last 10 years. I was thinking about it in the bubble. You were starting for Houston at the 5.
Yes.
And then a year later, you're starting in the NBA Finals at the 3.
Yeah.
And you can just sort of shift in wherever you can guard 2s, you can guard 5s. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm wondering, too, about that transition from your rookie year when you weren't playing, maybe being a little hard-headed, to when you came back and your development then as an NBA player and embracing a role. It's a common theme we sort of bring up on the show when we talk to certain guys because it's a really hard thing to do. There are games, and I looked at Game 6 box score, you played 36 minutes. You had the highest plus-minus on the team. You took 1 shot. So there's something that you have to give up in order to reach sort of a maximum value, which seems like a paradox, but it's true.
It's the number one thing I talk about. Without a doubt, it is. People will never understand. And I'm so glad you brought this up. Like, I was telling one of our young guys the other day, because he asked me, he was like, yo, you just played 38 minutes, you shot the ball twice. I said, go back, look in the finals, Game 6, the game-winning game. I didn't score a basket. I shot the ball 1 time. I played 40 minutes. 40 minutes. Do you know how hard it is to play as hard as I play and to play defense every possession and run after every 50-50 ball and be the most communicative, talking person and not do anything that not do anything that's going to show up on anybody's highlight film, it's the hardest thing in the world. And the funny thing is, in the moments, I never feel it. It's weird. I never feel it because I'm trying to do so much to help everybody else be the best player they can be and to help our team be the best team that we can be, that even in those moments where you be like, I know a lot of guys are like, oh man, in the second quarter, I ain't touched the ball, I ain't shot, I ain't got no rhythm. It's like that, taking that second to think that is, you're not prepared. You're not ready. Because now it's how play's going to happen and you're not going to be there because you're thinking about something else. So it's like tricking yourself to lock in every moment and not worry about things like that because
I actually, let's pretend in an alternate universe that I was not 6'4" with a 6'3" wingspan. And I was 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan. And I had to play your role. No, but I had to play your role.
And you can shoot like you.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. I can't do the stand there. I've got to move. I get antsy. The waiting for the swing pass in the corner on offense, I will go nuts. I will go fucking nuts. And I think, salary aside, and for your peers, of course, you're widely respected across the NBA. But in some ways, what you do is a thankless job. Do you ever feel that way?
Oh, for sure. Nobody cares. You know, like it'll be like, oh no, you're great, like whatever, and like it is a thankless job. Like you gotta get used to nobody really caring. Like,
do you ever feel? Because I was going to bring up Game 7 against Kevin in the Nets series, and I was sitting right behind his mom and Rich Kleiman and watching the game up close. I mean, you were in his shit the whole game. He was hitting ridiculous shots. And I'm thinking to myself, like, PJ's done this now for 6 nights. He did it in the first series. He's going to do it in the next series. You did it in the finals. And you're guarding literally the best offensive players in the world. And that night, I just thought to myself, PJ Tucker could not have played better defense tonight. And Kevin had he ended up with 47 or 48?
Yeah, 50 points.
Yeah, called it 50 ball.
50
okay,
ball.
50 ball. at times, does it feel like an exercise in futility? Like there's nothing you can do against the best players in the world?
Because if I felt like that, then I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Do you get discouraged, I guess is a better question.
No. Because it's like, okay, oh man, that was incredible. You made that. Now do it again. Now do it again. Because I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. And that was the confrontation. But we do that, dude. Me and him, like, ever since I've known him, we've done that forever. Like and I kept telling him, I'm like, and we're talking shit, it's like, whatever. I'm like, he's like, stop hacking me. I'm like, I'm not going to stop. Like, as like we got face to face, I'm not going anywhere. Like, it's that tricking myself because he's killing me. Like, he's got 50. He's going to score 50. I'm telling my teammates, he's going to score 50. Y'all guard y'all, man. He's going to score. But how many shots is he going to take him? How hard is he going to? I'm going to make him work harder than anybody. I'm going to work him because he's going to score. Like, and then I'm telling you, you have to trick yourself. Like,
we asked Drew this when Drew came on after you guys won the finals. Did you think the shot was a three? The shot to tie at the end of regulation?
I'm not going to lie, man. When he turned, I just kind of, and you can see my face, I'm like, oh my God. Because to close that distance with him, it's like, because he's so, like, he's so long, he's so tall, like if I can't get in his body and I can't really affect him, then he's like, it's nothing else to do. And he got that space. It was a great move. And I didn't have time to look at his feet. I really didn't. I'm trying so hard to get there to try to give any kind of contest I can. And so I didn't know. All I know is when I turned and looked, I knew it was like, it was in. It was, I knew it. I seen it. It was crazy.
I read a story about when you were at Texas and he came to visit and he came with you. So you knew then that he was going to be like this.
Listen, man, I knew then. I knew he was a junior high school that he's the best player in the world. Really? And I'm not just saying it like, it's not like, like Kobe's my favorite, like whatever. Like guys,
maybe not at the time, but you knew.
Yeah,
at
it's
some
like
point
he's gonna be like,
there.
he's like one of those guys. Like he's one of those guys right now. Like that day, I was like, why is he coming here? He has no business stepping foot on this campus. Like he really a junior high school. We were, mind you, Texas and Duke were 1 and 2 that year, like preseason.
It's gonna come up later.
Yeah.
There's no way this is not gonna.
We're not gonna leave this out of the
Get out of the way now.
Oh, God.
It'll come up later. Don't worry.
Don't worry. We're like high as ever. Like we're like one of 2 best teams in the country. This kid's coming in. It's like whatever, dog. I mean, he just everything he does right now, he was doing it. He's passing half, and like I remember Lamarcus like standing there, like feet on the 3-point line. And he just like as he pulled up, it was so much. It was like I was literally looking at it like, what? Hold on. Driving by guys, dunking, like it was crazy. It was like a video game. Like seriously, nobody could guard him.
I had a similar experience. It was right after his rookie year. He had a good rookie year. I think he won Rookie of the Year. But he had it was inefficient. I think he shot around 40%. It was not the Kevin Durant we know today. He was figuring things out as a rookie. But I was with the USA basketball team, the national team that summer, as they were all doing training camp and got to play with them for a couple weeks. And at the end of that camp, they were like, Kevin, you're not going to be on the team. But you knew then after those 2 weeks that he was going to be he's going to be a top 5 player within the next 2 or 3 years. You could see it then.
Right.
Serious question. There's a video on Instagram. Your back is turned in Game 7, so you can't really tell what you are saying to Wanda, to his mother. And then she says back, I love you too. Did you say I love you, or did you just blow a kiss? Because from my vantage point on the sideline, all I saw was you blowing a kiss.
So I was talking crazy, and she was like, I was in him. I had got him a few times, like real, like some tough hits. And she was like, he's not playing basketball, he playing football. He out there tackling him, blah, blah. And she's going at me. Somebody's shooting a free throw. She's going at me. And I hear her. I stand there. And I turn around and I said, I love you, Ma. And right in stride, she says, "I love you too." Like it was, and I can't believe like TNT caught it. Like they really caught it. It was crazy how they caught it and the timing of it. But that was for sure my moment of the playoffs. That was.
We should talk a little bit about the Bucks run. Before we get to that, though, right after I got traded to Dallas, I was in the hotel room and I ran into you in the hallway. You had just been traded to Milwaukee. And we can cut this anymore. I don't care.
I don't mean to just meeting the craziest places, man.
I know. And we start chatting or whatever. I think I was coming back from my COVID testing.
Yep.
Because I had to test with you guys that night.
And I was on my way down.
Got into town.
Yep.
And you were testing with the Bucks or whatever. And ran into each other. We chatted for like 10 minutes. And you said to me, I really thought I was getting traded to Miami. That's what you said.
I told you that.
And I probably said, I really didn't expect I was getting traded to Dallas or something like that.
You did.
Or something like that. And it's crazy how it works out. You end up getting traded to Milwaukee. You win a championship. And we can talk about the exit from Milwaukee if you want, but you end up going to Miami.
Then I end up in Miami.
It's wild.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Which it was those two, right? So, but the way things were looking, I thought Miami was going to be like, it was all the telltale signs were saying Miami at the time.
This is back in March.
This is like in March.
Yeah. And
then the Milwaukee thing just happened it was like, boom. It just happened. And I was like, wait, what happened? Whoa, wait. It was literally I really didn't think so. They called, had a conversation, done.
When did you get a sense with that team in the playoffs that you're like, because you've been through this war a bunch of times.
Right.
So more than, a lot of your teammates on that team. So when did you get a sense that, wait, we actually, we might have it. We might be able to take this somewhere.
All right, let's keep it real. 2 weeks ago, every team in the NBA is talking about they got a shot. All right, listen, it's like six teams that really got a chance to win a championship, right? Let's cut the BS. Everybody talks about it. It's 6 teams that really got a chance, right? You go through the season and you have highs and lows, but you'll get a good feel of your team and where you kind of stack up, and if you can really match up and be able to go at it with some of the best teams, and if you are one of those best teams. We felt like we were a really good team, but when I got there, obviously most of those guys have been there. Me and Drew just getting there. Then I'm coming. It's like figuring it out. Honestly, because Dante wasn't hurt yet, so it was it wasn't enough minutes for everybody at first because we had a lot of guys. We really did. We were deep. We had a really deep team, and so they were still trying to figure it all out. So every night somebody wasn't happy. It was just, whatever. You dropped a few games, won some games, but you still don't know, right? You start the playoffs and you go through the rounds, and for better or worse, the confidence you gain and lose through series, the Brooklyn series, I'm not gonna lie, that was hands down the hardest thing I've ever done. Physically, mentally, that was a really, I don't think that was hopefully if I
the
get
ups
that
and downs
year,
of that series were crazy.
It's just the most craziest thing ever. All the drama, all the talk, and it was just so much. And to win that series and still have 2 more series to play to win the NBA championship, I'm not gonna lie. After Game 7, I was wait, we still gotta play some more.
I thought that was the championship.
Dog, it felt that way. So when you still, and then 2 totally different series from that and from each other with Atlanta and Phoenix, but it was still the same. It was just, I'm trying to explain it because you can't. It's hard, man. When you go through it and the emotion that goes through it, you can't. It's hard to duplicate it and express that feeling of it because the ups and downs, the emotional ups and downs of it is the craziest relationship you've ever been in your life or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
Unfortunately, I can't understand the feeling you had when you won a championship. But there's a very specific series in my career that was like that series, and that was the first round in 15 when the Clippers played the Spurs.
Yes,
we went
that
7.
Was crazy.
We literally both teams threw haymakers, and the ups and downs, the emotional. We had multiple elimination games. We had to win Game 6 on the road in San Antonio.
I watched every game of that series,
and I hit a couple shots late, and then Chris hit the game winner.
Yep.
Kawhi's got like a tip in, and Matt Barnes deflects the ball. We win, and like I'm on the court, and it's the first round, and I'm like, "Whoa, are tears coming? Are tears coming?" Because it was so emotional. That series was so emotionally draining. And then I'm walking off the court, and Arn Tellem, who's now with the Pistons, but was my agent for the first 10 or 11 years of my career, he comes over and he gives me a hug. I'm so fucking proud of you. And like I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna cry. I gotta get back to the locker room. And it's inexplainable, but I think Brooklyn, was good enough to win a championship. That year, San Antonio was good enough to win a championship. We were good enough to win a championship. And so when you beat a team in 7 games in an up and down series like that, the emotions are just it's exhausting at the end.
It's exhausting.
You're done.
It is, man. It is. And people don't understand that. Like you watch it. That's one thing, man. When you playing and you down 0-2, and then you go on the road and you rally, and then you go back home and lose, and then you got to go back on the road. It's like the day after day after day, your family, everybody talking, media, Sports Center, everybody.
The overreactions,
so much.
The overreactions in your case after Game 1 of that series against Brooklyn. You have to deal with that. You guys get blown out.
And Game 5.
Game 5.
Game 5 was the one. Game 5 was the one where it was like, okay. It's like, all right.
Was there a part of going back to the Houston experience? Like I was talking before about how like you just had a little more experience dealing with this than like the rest of your teammates, where obviously you didn't come out on top in those series, but those series were also very similar.
For sure.
In that those swings were happening in those Warriors
Crazy.
games. So like how do you stay measured? How do you basically not? Obviously, you're not going to care about the TV and everything like that, but how do you not like emotionally, kind of get down when you have like a Game 5 like this where you blow a big lead and all of a sudden your back's against the wall?
I'm telling you, you gotta for me, it's like I trick myself, man, because I don't watch any of the TV. Like I don't hear anybody talking. My people around me know I don't want to talk about it. It's like you gotta trick yourself to this weird. You gotta put yourself in this weird place where you're just like mentally 0-0. Give everything you got. Do everything you can do. Do everything you can do to help this team win. And whatever happens, happens. And that's what you got to just, in your heart, accept that and go out and try to do it. Because if you put that pressure on yourself to try to it's must win. We got it. You're going to go over and you're going to be terrible. You're not going to guard anybody and you're going to be bad probably. So you got to play.
I was thinking about your Houston teams versus those Warrior teams. And then I was thinking about that Bucks Nets series specifically. After you guys won, did you have any thoughts of the amount of luck that is involved in winning a championship?
No doubt about it.
You're up 3-2 against Houston that first year with CP, your first year in Houston too, and a minute 30 to go, whatever it was, CP blows his hamstring out. You're even up, I think, big in Game 6 and Game 7 in the first half.
Double digits.
Yeah. And lose those games. James gets hurt in that series for Brooklyn. Kyrie gets hurt in that series for Brooklyn. You guys end up winning a championship. Not to discredit anyone's championship by any means.
No doubt.
But there's always a little bit of luck or unluckiness involved.
It's me winning this year made me finally let go of everything I held in from Houston. Because when you lose like that, you can't control it. It's gonna be in your heart. Like that, there's nothing nobody can tell me that if Chris doesn't get hurt, that we don't win, right? You don't, of course they won and whatever. What happened. But in my heart for years, Chris don't go down, we win. Chris don't go down, we win. He was playing insane. He was lights out. He's lights out. And it's one of those things. And then winning, everything Brooklyn, like watching Brooklyn go through that, right? And then on the flip, we go the Atlanta series and Giannis goes out. And it was like that to me again, right? Like I was like, oh man. Like, nah, this ain't happening again. Like, nah, come on. Not like the same thing, like Western Conference Finals. Like, I'm like, there's no way. And to see our team rally that game 5 and 6 was incredible. It was inspiring. It really was, because to watch Brooke just like kick the door down, like, oh, like I've been waiting for this. Like Brooke, it was almost like Brooke Lopez was like really like, okay, I'm ready. Like, don't worry, guys. Like Brooke went crazy. Nothing, like he didn't do anything that he don't normally do, but it was like, you know, it was just a heavy dose of Brooke, and he was so good.
The supersized Nets version of Brooke.
Oh man, bro, Brooke was it was the old Nets Brooke,
Yeah.
like where he was like unstoppable, like nobody could guard him. He's just it was amazing. But I feel like I had to go through that to get to that, if that makes sense. For me in my journey, I feel like the experience and everything.
We touched on the ups and downs of the playoffs for you guys with Drew. You know, the Atlanta series being down, of course, the Brooklyn series being down, losing first 2 games against Phoenix before winning 4 in a row. You went through that emotional roller coaster in the semis. What's that release for you after Game 6? What's going through your mind? Like, there's got to be a level of just a weight off your shoulder that I'm assuming it's just impossible to describe.
It's so crazy, man, because it took everybody, and like that feeling of like that unity of that group, right? We hadn't been together long. You know, Drew just got there. I just got like, it was like when you come together at a time and the focus and how locked in everybody was every night, from being down twice in 2 series and, you know, people counting you out. Everybody saying we can't do it. There's no way. Being down in the finals 0-2, like, that, like, to see guys lock in game 3 and 4 and then go to Phoenix and like that was 4 in a row. Like nobody thought that. Like it, so you go through all those moments like in like 5 seconds, right? In your head. It's like it's like a crazy fast forward. And it's just like that. I mean, because I got the last rebound, right? And I'm dribbling it out. And it was just like everything you've been through in your basketball career just like falling off. It was like everything just falling off your shoulders. That's what it felt like.
Wow. Did you do, like we were talking about earlier, did you do like any immediate like introspection about like thinking about when you were in Siberia, or like when you were in all of these crazy, because your journey, even with all of your other teammates, I mean, Giannis has obviously had a crazy route to get there and everything like that, but your basketball journey was definitely different than everybody else that had a ring. And so when you're like in the locker room afterwards, you're like, I cannot believe that I'm in this moment.
I haven't got to that point yet, right? Because I don't. To me, it's like when I get there, then it's like I'm done. Like I don't want to think about that till I'm done. Like I'm still in the journey. I'm still fighting. I'm still going through it. And I always said once I got done, then I'll kind of get to that. But I said I'm not supposed to be here, right? It's like that. They said I couldn't, and I shouldn't, and all of that stuff. And it's like the guys. It's not for me, it's for guys that are coming behind me, right? Like all the 6'5", 6'6" guys that, play of the year in college, doing all this stuff, really good college players, but just don't translate to being pros. And now these guys being guys that all the professional scouts are looking for, because they can handle the ball, they can pass, they can do multiple things. They're not the size, but they can guard guys that size, and and they got the heart. It's like all the intangibles. Like
you're one of the blueprints for those guys now,
right? And I take pride in that. Like that's a big deal for me, because I know what it felt like them saying that I wasn't supposed to be here.
How drunk were you at the championship parade? Scale of 1 to 10.
Listen, JJ. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I went I don't think I slept for like 5 days straight. You've been to Milwaukee, obviously. Have you ever been to Milwaukee in the summer, like when it's nice out?
No.
Milwaukee's actually a nice place. And
I love Milwaukee.
Milwaukee is really nice, actually. In the summertime, it is delightful. And when the Bucks are winning, it's even better. And
That crowd was wild.
I couldn't pay for a drink for, it's like the bar, like they got crazy bars and stuff. It's like a million of them. And you know me, I'm from North Carolina. Like I literally just like walked. I didn't get in the car. Like we just walked up the streets and just went. And I just enjoyed it with the fans because I knew how much it meant to them. Like it could never mean as much to me as it meant to them. Like it was incredible. And by the time I got to the parade, you got to think who I play with too. Like, all right, JJ, all right. Like Giannis, nah. Chris Middleton, no. Like Chris is like, Drew, no. Like it's
not
like
really.
all these like the best dudes you'll ever meet in your life, right? Mind you, like all these guys, amazing people, like the best people, best kind of people. And then there's me, like I'm the guy, right? I'm like, all right, okay. This is the parade, guys. Like I've watched parades. Like this is not what we're not going out like this. We're not going out like this, JJ. We're not going out like this. So I'm already like still stuck from the night before. So it's like 10 in the morning. Ace of Spades sent me like I don't know how many like these huge like jillabons of freaking Ace of Spades. Like I had so much champagne, right? So I like packed all the buses with it, and we're having fun. We're spraying it first, and I'm like, all right, let's go. It's time to turn this up. And Chris Middleton's like, Tuck. He's like, Tuck, no, please. And I just went crazy.
When you gave your speech, was your buzz peaking? Was it waning? Was it steady?
I was just about to get there. I wasn't there yet. I was like right there. And so the screaming and yelling, like I was starting to lose my voice from the parade from yelling the whole time. And so I was just right there, Jay. I'm not gonna lie. And then I had just finished one and my boy hands me another huge bottle. And this is like right before. So right when I get up there, they say my name. I'm like, oh, it's my turn. All right. I didn't say anything I thought I was going to. I told myself I was going to say because I was ending like that, but it ended up just being my whole speech. I forgot everything before. So that's when I knew I was drunk. And then the sip was not supposed to, it wasn't supposed to be that.
Yeah.
I was going to take a sip and then spray it, but you know,
it happens, man.
Yeah,
it happens to the best of us.
I mean,
Don't you wish the NBA had like a Stanley Cup? They could like allow like
that would be
like let you take it to North Carolina.
Oh my God. Guys do that. It goes on. I mean, Giannis like kept it for the entire summer. Nobody else really got a chance to. He took it on a world tour. I think he took a picture of it everywhere. But guys get a chance to. Our summer, I think we had the shortest summer from the championship to like start of the season. So it wasn't a lot of time. But yeah, who cares? It was.
Speaking of Giannis, what was the most surprising thing becoming his teammate about him before you got there?
We've had some battles, like epic, like going at it, right? I've guarded him his whole career. So to see how actually hard he works on his free throws and even like his three, like he works really hard, dog. And I'm like, he just can't shoot free throws. But he really works. Like I shot with him a ton. Like he really does. He really does. And that surprised me. When I first got there, I had no idea, his work. You don't know guys' work ethic if you don't play with them. Like you haven't know. I mean, I imagine JJ gets threes up. I mean, I don't know how hard he works, but I'd imagine he gets a bunch of threes up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. You get there and I'm like, damn, he really works hard, dog. Like he really works hard.
I've heard that from a number of people. Let's talk a little bit about how you ended up at Texas and your high school recruitment. You grew up in Raleigh. There's 3 amazing schools and a bunch of other schools within driving
I've known JJ for a long time, guys. This is
Did none of the North Carolina schools really recruit you? Is that a true story?
That's not true. See, and everybody says like that always comes up. And I'm like,
it's become fact now.
It is. Wake Forest. Me and Chris were supposed to go to school together. We said we were going to go to school together, right? We were like, yo, we're going to go to the same school. He convinced the Wake Forest, didn't ask me. Like he just did it. Like he was going to Wake Forest. He's like, come on. At the time, his junior year, my grades weren't ready to go to Wake Forest. But we were talking. They ended up signing some other guys. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to Wake Forest anyways. I love Coach Prosser. Rest in peace. Love Coach Prosser was my guy. And in Carolina, right? Like Carolina, my AU team, we're affiliated with Carolina. That was my dream. My dream was to go to Carolina. I've never wanted to go anywhere else other than Carolina. So Matt Doherty was the coach then, which it just wasn't. And guys that were on Carolina back then, I mean, I've never said this, but I know they don't care. They were like, don't come here. Hey, Jay, have you ever like, mind you, these are my guys. Like, I hang with these guys. I know these guys. They're like, don't come here. Like, don't, like, I know you want to come here. You like, don't come here.
I've heard some stories about those years, the transition years.
Yeah, the transition years, right?
Until
like,
Roy got there,
it was crazy. But being a kid growing up there, like it was my dream. Like Shammond Williams, Stack, these are my guys. Like they're like my brothers. So like it was like it hurt me not going to a North Carolina school. Like it really did, and that was like part of my like drive too. Going to school, it was like. It was only one scholarship that year, 03. They gave it to Rayshawn Terry, who could play. Rayshawn was a really good player. But it just, I was kind of heartbroken, really. I've never said that before to anybody, but I really was. And it was really a determining factor when Rick Barnes came. He was from North Carolina. It was like one of those things. Like, and all my guys, everybody's like, JJ is at Duke, Shavlik Randolph, he's like my high school rivalry. He went to Broughton right across from Raleigh. We went to middle school together. Like all these guys are going to all the schools, and I was like the one that had to leave. So it was like I felt some kind of way. Like I really did. And it was like all in me, but seeing Coach K all the time, like, and Coach K would even say it in like art, like they ask him about me. He's like, yeah, I love him, but no.
we should have recruited you.
I wasn't a Duke guy, which it was fine. Like it was cool, like, whatever. But Clemson offered me, they were there, but that wasn't that wasn't Tobacco Road. It was like, whatever.
Do you still carry that chip? Because like a little part of your chip on your shoulder is because of that? A little bit?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, right? It's like everything. Like I carry so, like, it's like, I didn't make the McDonald's game. I had a chip from that. I didn't do that. Like, I didn't go to Carolina. I had a chip from that. It's like, I got to school and it's like, you're not a pro. I had a chip from that. It's like you build those chips up. And that's what I was saying. Like, when you win an NBA championship, it's like all those chips fall off. They really do. Cause it's like, there's no, this is it. This is Mount Olympus. It's like, this is it. Like, I didn't like, I wasn't just like on the roster and like I put blood, sweat, and tears into playing 38, 39, 40 minutes a game and winning something like this. Like, this is it.
So a follow-up to that, I'm not trying to be like a psychiatrist, but those chips you're talking about,
yeah.
Some guys, and I think some guys have talked about this, they create these imaginary sort of snubs because they need that motivation,
yes.
Right? In your case, you're saying all that stuff fell off. So you were carrying around all that stuff, all of it, the whole time?
Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Does it worry you now that you don't have them on you anymore?
Listen, man, I've never been so light in my life, JJ. Listen, I'm walking right here. I'm so light. No, seriously. And then, like, with the chips, right? It's like you got to go through, like, I had to go through, like, the levels of the league, too, at the same time, right? Like, it's like, all right, I got back. Okay, once you get back, you got to stick, right? What do I got to do to stick? So you figure out how to stick. Then I went from being in the rotation to being a starter, right? Now I'm in a starter. Now what do I got to do to continue to be a starter and to get paid, right? And it's like level, like each, and those chips are still building because you're still going through shit as you're building yourself, right? Like I got to be a better shooter. I got to defend better. I got to, every little thing. Like they just mount up.
You brought up that 2005, 2006 Texas team.
Earlier.
We've talked about it one other time on the show. We talked about it with Kevin.
It doesn't really come up. It's not like
we talked about it. Katie brought it up when he came on.
God.
Kevin brought it up when he came on the show.
This is single. All right, let me say this.
He said he was at that game.
This is single, like hands down, the number one thing in my career through everything that I've got killed the most about. Number one. Oh, mind you, JJ had his best game of his college career that game. Like JJ went it was like almost like I don't know. What was up with you? It was like you were mad at us or something. I don't know. JJ went crazy on us. He had like 46, 44.
I had 41.
Was he
41?
talking?
Well, we're gonna get to that. Hold on, let's see. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. So there was remember Adam Morrison used to play like late at night. And I had watched his game either the night before or on Thursday night, but at some point that week. And I was watching him shoot. And you know how he had the ball off to the side a little bit?
Yes.
But it was really high off to the side.
Yes.
And at the time, I was more straightforward. And I remember in warm-ups that day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to move my shooting pocket just ever so slightly aside. I'm not going to exaggerate it like Adam, but just ever so slightly. And I shot a few in warm-ups, and I was like, oh, fuck, this feels good. And then like the ball boy looked at me and he said, how many are you going to have tonight? And I said, for sure 30 or 40. It feels that good right now.
Oh my God.
And I actually missed my first 2 shots of that game. And I was undeterred because it felt so good. So at the end of the game, towards the end of the game, PJ he wasn't really guarding me for most of the game.
I didn't.
For some reason, towards the end of the game, it was already a blowout. He starts guarding me and he's doing the PJ stuff. He's not letting me cut. He's cutting me off. He's shoving me. He's talking to me. I grabbed a rebound. He's tickling me and doing all this. I don't know, just all this weird shit. And it was apparent that he was trying to get under my skin. And obviously, he was frustrated. You know, I don't hold it against you to this day.
1,000%.
And I don't remember exactly how the story goes, but I got fouled. I had 39. We were up 30, and he's yapping at me at the free throw line. And like as I'm shooting my free throw, I said something to him. I think what I said was, PJ, I've got 40 and you're down 30. Why the fuck are you talking? Something like that.
It was something to that degree. It was definitely. My friends destroyed me about this. And I'm not gonna lie, for a year, I was so mad. Ken Paulino wanted to guard you. Like KP, he wanted to guard you, and then I'm like, dude, all right, cool. Like, mind you, they got a bunch of other really good guys too. Like you couldn't just hone in on JJ because he had 2 of the best screeners. I mean, nobody screened like Sheldon. Like Sheldon Williams would just kill people.
Elite screener.
Oh God.
The only thing that bothered me that game though was that they put it this walk. I had like 33 in the second half, and at one point we're taking the ball out underneath, and they make a substitution, and they put this guy JD Carey.
Yep.
Was that his name?
JD.
It was a walk on, and they put him on me for one play. And I scored, and I lit into your bench going back down the court.
Oh, man,
I was so mad.
Crazy on the bench. Oh, you went crazy on the bench.
I can't believe you put a white guy on me. I can't believe you put a white guy on me.
You retired our black uniforms, dog. You know about that?
Yeah, I do.
We were
because I'm close with Toddy, with Todd Wright. Yeah.
So there you go. All right,
he brings up the retired.
Toddy's the one.
He's the best.
Toddy's like, get those fucking uniforms out of here. We were so high. Like, they told us we got these new black Nike Elite. We see him, we're like, oh my God, we're going crazy. What shoes we're gonna wear with him? And warm up. So like, oh, we ran him against Duke, man. Like, we were so hyped. And they blitzed us, man. I did not see that uniform ever again. They got rid of him.
Did you guys run into each other in between this and the Bentley? Did you see each other at all?
Oh, in the NBA, yeah. I saw them at the Sweet 16 because we were in the same bracket. So we would have played in the Elite Eight. We lost to LSU. Then they lost to LSU in the Elite Eight game.
Yep.
So I saw him, and then I saw him in the NBA.
Yeah, I see Jay.
But like, it was like the thing about PJ. I've always had respect for PJ.
Yeah, we've always been. We've been.
We played against each other in college too. Yep. Before that, my sophomore year.
Yep.
So yeah, it's always been respect, man. It's,
yep.
You know.
Yo, you know, it's and I just thought about it when you I didn't finish that the Carolina thing. It's crazy because I go to Texas, you know, and I'm playing pretty good at the beginning. We get to the NCAA tournament in second round. I see it when they do the brackets. I see it. We got Carolina Sweet 16 in Denver.
What year? This is 04? 04?
We got Carolina. This is the year before they won it.
Yeah.
Raymond, Cans, everybody, the whole team. And I had like 14-12. We beat Carolina. That was the first game I ever cried. Like I cried I was so emotional. It was crazy. And that's why I knew it bothered me. Like I really was mad I didn't go to Carolina. But beating them in Denver, Roy's first year, and I will never forget, I was last in the, shaking hands. And I got to Roy, and Roy grabs me. And he pulls me close and he goes, if I were here, you'd be here right now. And that, it was like, all right, I'm good. Like, it was like and I don't know why Roy, and I love Roy. Roy's one of my favorite people. Roy Williams is awesome. But it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
The emotions of the show.
It's crazy.
The emotions of the show, Tommy. If you got poop on any other part of your body, you would just wipe it off, right? No, you'd wash it. Stop wiping and start washing with Tushy, the modern bidet that attaches directly to your toilet. Look, it's pretty simple. Tushy is the modern bidet for people who poop. Just poop, wash, and pat dry.
Yep. It washes your butt with water for a better clean than toilet paper, keeping irritation to a minimum. Plus, it's easy to install. Tushy attaches to the toilet in under 10 minutes. No electricity or plumbing needed.
And don't forget, Tommy, using a Tushy bidet reduces your toilet paper use by 80%, saving you money. And they have a full product line to help make the restroom the best room, including toilet stools, brushes, and more. So start washing with a Tushy bidet for a better clean. Go to hellotushy.com/3, THREE, to get 10% off plus free shipping. That's 10% off plus free shipping. This is a special offer for our listeners at hellotushy.com/3 for 10% off. After you buy and install your Tushy, show it off. Tag us at hellotushy on Instagram. Tommy, I know I often talk about all the gambling that I do on golf courses.
Often.
And how I get paid out.
Yes.
And I've actually never asked you, how do you use Cash App?
How do I use Cash App?
Yeah.
Well, I like to bet on random things with Cash App. I like to make prop bets on the Oscars. I like to make prop bets on who is going to come to dinner the latest. I like to make prop bets on if our flight is landing, whether we will get to the gate before or after the scheduled time we're supposed to get there. And so every time I make one of those bets, I use Cash App. I find that to be a little more interesting than golf, just me. But maybe our listeners don't agree.
Fair enough. All I know is we won today's match on the 18th green.
Are you still feeling it? Are you still feeling the high from the trip?
For sure. No, the trip's over. I played a top 100 course today in New Jersey, and we won the match on the 18th green. By the way, speaking of people showing up late to dinner, your boy Miro canceled. We were supposed to go to the Nets Heat game last night with Jesus and Miro, and Miro canceled at 6:30.
An hour before.
I'm not paying him shit on Cash App.
It is what it is.
When it comes to athletes, we tend to focus on physical fitness, but there's another side of the game that's just as important: mental fitness. Calm, the #1 app for sleep and meditation, has teamed up with LeBron James to help you train your mind and become the champion version of yourself. LeBron and Calm know that your mind is like any other muscle in your body, but you don't have to be a world champion to learn how to train it.
Calm can help you train your brain so you sleep better, reduce your stress, and perform at your best, just like King James. As he says, quote, "Getting good sleep and finding time to rest is one of the most valuable things I can do for my body and mind. From the sound of rain falling on leaves to bedtime sleep stories, Calm puts me to sleep within minutes, which means I wake up ready for any challenge."
So, if you head to calm.com/JJ for a limited time, you'll get 40% off a Calm premium subscription. Again, for a limited time, our listeners can join LeBron in using Calm and get a 40% discount on a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/JJ. Unlock content to help you focus, ease stress, and sleep better. Get started at calm.com/JJ. That's calm.com/JJ.
I wanted to ask you about your current situation. Just sort of like your initial thoughts, but then also, like we were talking about this before we started taping. Like this team we obviously love a bunch of guys in this team and everything like that. It's a lot of guys with the chip on their shoulder you were talking about. It's a lot of guys that are kind of like mean motherfuckers who you kind of don't want to run into in a big game because they've been there before and they'll punch you in the mouth. Was that a part of the reason of why you ended up here?
No doubt about it. This year, like me and Jay, like you said, we were talking before, and being free and being like my 16th year, I gotta have some kind of purpose, and I gotta want to be out there, right? Like if I can't just play basketball anymore. In this situation, like handpicking it, like this was like, okay, I like that. Like I like me in that, like that, just that whole makeup. It's like yeah, I like that, you know. And it's not just that, right? It's not just like because there's a lot of chippy guys and the tough. Like it's like smart chippy guy. Like it's guys that got a chip on their shoulder, but they play really hard. I know we're gonna play hard. No matter if we win, lose, or draw, we're gonna give everything we got every night. I know that 1,000%. I've been on teams where I couldn't say that, right? Like I played with guys that's not like that. And that's all I ask. Like if we going out there and we just together, you know, we going and we mobbing and we together and we playing together. It's our style of play too, right? Like the way we move the ball is crazy. Kyle's throwing like full court passes to Jimmy, and Jimmy's like turning on layups to make sure if you haven't got a shot that you're gonna get a shot. Like it's like guys really care, and you know, being like that foxhole thing together. So it's been fun. Like it was still early in it. Like we still haven't, you know, figured it out, but it's been fun. Like the whole process of all of it, it's still fun.
How many times have you heard the word heat culture since you've been
I have
here?
heard heat culture. I think I've heard PJ a few thousand times. I've heard heat culture probably like 100,000.
Already.
You're so heat culture. I went to try to save a ball the other night. Milwaukee game. I'd go to save this ball, and you know me, like I'd like jump in the crowd. And next morning I get up, I'm already practice, and I see like Twitter like trending heat culture with the picture of like my feet like hanging in it. I'm like, I almost got hurt, but it's like heat culture. It's so annoying.
We've been accused of being a Miami Heat podcast during the bubble. We were accused of that all last fall. I'm not gonna say anything about the heat culture. I'm not gonna say anything about it.
Many of our best guests on the show are your teammates. We obviously do a show with Duncan,
right?
But Jimmy comes on every once in a while and just decides to light it up.
To bless us. All right, PJ, we appreciate the time, man. This was awesome.
This was
a good
awesome,
catch up.
man.
Thank you for being open and honest, man. This was great.